Hi everyone, how you doing? Thank you for popping by, and thank you to the new subscribers and the old faithfuls. Now, as we're deep into Jehovah's Witness convention season, I was just looking around on the net and I came across this. Now, it's not a brand new report, but I found it very enlightening. It's from Vice.com. Vice.com reporting on Jehovah's Witnesses. Interesting combination. Look at that headline. The annual convention was so organized it was creepy. So this was from June 2014. Mason Miller. But have a look. So we have the picture. Now I didn't know because my knowledge predates the blue Borg logo. I didn't know you had this great big .org thing in the middle of an arena like that. Wow, look at how things have changed, eh? So a lot of these pictures are the Watchtower's own stock photos, but some of these, like this one, do come from Vice themselves. So get ready for this. Aside from the occasional door-to-door visits, and that one time which I still feel guilty about, when my brother drenched some evangelists with water balloons from our second-story bedroom window. Oh man, that is mean. I had never really met a Jehovah's Witness. Like most, I assumed they were cult-addled nuts, resistant to the progress of science, and inexplicably in competition with one another for a spot on heaven's coveted 144,000 person roster. Also, I knew Prince was a member, and any religious group that could claim Prince as one of their own was either extremely terrifying or weirdly edgy and almost cool. Edgy and almost cool. Knowing MTV's Pimp My Ride and the Jacksons also had connections to the Jehovah's Witnesses didn't clear up my confusion. Now, this Pimp My Ride, I'm going to have to look that up because I've never heard of that before. So we've got a picture. This is provided by Watchtower. South African couple, photo courtesy of the PR team. Here we go, for the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, you see there, you see the control. Look. People in sort of ethnic dress thing, visiting from another country, and they're happy. They're happy because we are the happiest people on earth. That is what our PR people say. So last weekend, this reporter went to the Jehovah's Witness annual convention, one of the largest Jehovah's Witness events in North America. More than 35,000 were in attendance each day. Members came to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans from as far away as Slovenia and South Africa. There was also a specific delegation of French-speaking guests. Upon entrance, I got a colourful pamphlet called God's Kingdom Rules! As I moved through the entrance and tried in vain to mix with the crowd, now here we go, I realised that there were several men in suits with Secret Service headsets following me. Initially, I thought it was paranoia, plain and simple, until I heard one of them communicating my whereabouts. He's got more Scientology. Really has. Picture. Guarding. We have a journalist at gate 8. Sorry, that was a whisper. We have a journalist at gate 8, she whispered as I turned my first corner. I pretended not to hear him. Yes, 8 as in hotel, he said. Someone gave the guard an order and he politely stopped me. A press person is coming down for you, he said. The guards were volunteers for the convention, as was everyone else. For convention purposes, congregations divided themselves into various committees in order to oversee everything from security to media relations. They even took care of cleaning, despite the Superdome's retainer on dozens of janitors. So why not let the janitors do it? Doesn't keep the rank and file so in line, though, does it? It's a style of planning and teamwork that must be well practiced after decades of carving up a neighbourhood into sectors and knocking on every door. Apparently, the Jehovah's Witnesses volunteer security force had been in New Orleans since Thursday, learning the lay of the land and planning everything. At every entry and exit, there were at least 2 guards posted. One Superdome employee said to me, "These guys are guarding the elevators, like Obama is here." I'd love to know what you think of that, because if the employees that are normally there are saying, this is like heavy on security, what's the security for? Because the members themselves are surely going to be well behaved. So you don't need to be controlling them. Yeah, you may get people in who have malicious intent. I mean, like just randomly going and doing things to various people. We know those people exist. They take to streets, take to rooftops, schools, whatever. And everyone is right that everyone's protected. But really, what are the sort of disruptions that happen at a convention? You and I know, don't we? It is people warning the attendees there. And it's not done with malice, not done with hatred. It can be done with passion. And people certainly aren't so happy with the top brass and what they're lying and teaching and things. But people aren't there with malice. And that's the real reason to me, on a practical level, why they've got so many security. But you may, especially if you know how things are in New Orleans, you may disagree, so it'd be interesting. The main floor of the convention was like the front yard of a funeral home, complete with an enormous display of houseplants shaped to look like the continents of Earth. Ooh. Plus their floral printed dresses and charcoal suits made most guests look like they were dressed for a wake. Oh. As a future sign of their top-down control of every aspect of the convention, or maybe just a tight budget, and we have talked about this a lot, none of the concession booths were open, and we know why, don't we? Because that will be money that will be filtering into someone else's pocket and is not going to go into the donations box. Ordinarily, there will be nachos and sodas for sale. Oh, they're bad for you anyway. So, at noon, attendees walked around with plastic Walmart bags filled with food. I distinctly smelled peanut butter and egg salad throughout the aisles. As one woman in a wheelchair sat there eating a raw hot dog from a lunchbox, asked me how long I'd been part of the fold. When I told her I was just checking it out, she smiled and nodded. My brother passed away before accepting Jehovah into his life. It's never too late until it's too late, she said. Now this photo, take good notice of this. Have this imprinted in your eyeballs. Now this is the PR photo from Watchtower of a mass baptism. We can see 1, 2, 3 people clearly at the front getting baptized, and another person in a pink just at the top left corner. How old do they look to you? How old do they look? Those are children. Now, wouldn't you think Watchtower would have maybe they've learned since 2014, but they should by now have the sense to just don't release the pictures of children getting baptized. I remember, the teaching was, no, we don't approve of infant baptism. People need to be old enough, and they're not old enough. They're not old enough to drive. They're not old enough to smoke. They're not old enough to get married. They're not old enough to have a drink. But they're old enough to make a decision that could ruin the rest of their lives. A decision that could kill them because of the blood doctrines. A decision, as I say, that could affect their career, their education, whether they ever see their parents again, their grandparents, whether they'll be homeless, whether they'll be suicidal. It damn well annoys me, this photograph. But it's good. Look, this is from Watchtower's publicity pack to your eyeballs. Poor kids, eh? Poor kids, it's not right. To be damn well ashamed of themselves. And we know, like, those kids do not need to be baptized, even if you believe in the Armageddon coming any moment and things. They don't need to be baptized to survive that. These are children. But no, they've been, since they were born, you will die, your friends will die, some comets from heaven will come down, and so I went off again. I can't help it. It's a bit unsettling to realise you're one of the only people in a room of nearly 40,000 who think you're not destined for heaven, and not even destined for the earthly paradise that the remaining Jehovah's Witnesses will inherit after all the other degenerate heathens like me are abruptly taken out by the apocalypse. So it's interesting to hear what someone who is not going to believe this stuff is looking around at all these thousands of people around them thinking, oh, they think I'm going to sort of suddenly lost in a fireball. Oh, the reporter must have felt very loved at that moment. Their beliefs are their beliefs after all, but I don't often contemplate the afterlife in the presence of a group whose faith is so relentless. It's convert or burn. And that's heavy shit, man. The music was super eerie. Oh, sorry, like some kind of dystopian deep cut from the Sound of Music soundtrack. Oh, dearie me. There was a big climactic event on the bill that sounded like it was supposed to be a live drama depicting something from the Book of Something. Upon taking my seat in the vast Superdome and staring down at what I expected to be an elaborate stage setup, and of course that was what people like myself remember, I realised that there wasn't a set or a cast. Instead, when the lights went down, a film began playing on the stadium's enormous video screens. I didn't know they were doing films already by then. The cast delivered each line in a flat deadpan. And well, that hasn't changed, has it? And everyone was wearing way too much makeup. Oh, the tarts. It was like a B-movie made by the Bible Channel. I found it hard to keep myself from laughing. Oh, this man. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. He's got his lanyard on. He's got his sign. To their credit, though, I heard a few snickers during the film, from what I assume were believers. So it's like, you see how, like, normal in quotes, none of us are normal, but normal, a non-J-dub is like, oh yeah, you know, these are human beings as well that will laugh at even, you know, unintentional humour. To make matters funnier, a bunch of men walked around holding quiet please signs that had already been made, as though they knew this was going to happen. I'd be no good at that, because the more I was supposed to keep quiet, the more I'd laugh. Oh dear. Leaving the convention, I realised that a lot of what I'd just been through had been somewhat normal, though only in an uncanny valley kind of way, or like in a David Lynch film. Woo! But while I still don't understand the Jehovah's Witness faith or its people, and while I may still think of them as cult-addled nuts, they're still just people. They happen to like renouncing hellfire more than the average person, but they also like peanut butter sandwiches, and they'll laugh at a terrible movie just like anyone. And they especially like organising conventions. So I just found that interesting. I found the pictures interesting, except for that one, which was very annoying. And it was amusing, and it's good to hear someone else's view of what the security's like and how they got targeted. Anyway, thank you for your time. Bye for now.